Okay, we have what we call a literal equation. And there's going to be a lot of literal equations in the next couple of chapters, so you need to be familiar with them. What is a literal equation? It's an equation that we need to solve that contains more than one variable, in this case x and y. So what the problem is asking us to do is solve this for x. Well, what this means is at the end of the problem, we're going to need to have this happen. I'm down at the bottom of the screen here. X is going to have to equal a whole bunch of stuff, where that stuff contains only other things. It doesn't have any x's. So it might be 7y minus 3 over 2y, or whatever. But the fact is that the right-hand side can't contain any x's, only the left-hand side. So that's what we're up against. Okay, let me erase that out, and let's get to work. The key to this problem is pretty straightforward. First of all, you want to simplify out as much as you can. So distributive property. 3xy plus 2y plus 14, right? Distribute the 2 to each of those terms. On the right-hand side, 6. Now this is a little bit tricky. You got to be careful. 7y times x is minus 7yx. Negative 7y, notice we have to distribute this whole thing to 4, is minus, not plus, but minus 28y. Now what we want to do is, since we're solving it for x, get all your terms that contain an x to the left-hand side. So that term contains an x, we're going to go to the left. This term contains an x, get it to the left. Everything that doesn't have a left on it, we're going to have to move over to the right. So that's going to the left, that's going to the left, left side of the equal sign. Let me do another color. That's going over to the right, that's going to the right, that's staying on the right, and that's staying on the right. Okay, so we don't have to touch the 6 and the 28, just the 2y and the 14. So let's take care of this. Let's get rid of the 2y and the 14 first. Minus 2y. And find another y term over here. This is your dividing part, right? So minus 2y. 14 is plus here, so we're going to minus 14. Notice we're subtracting off. That's gone. And now we're going to combine, and we have 6 minus 14 is negative 8. And negative 28 minus 2 is negative 30y. And now we're going to move this minus 7yx to the left-hand side. So how do we do it? Well, add it, right? So plus 7yx gets rid of the minus 7yx plus 7yx. And what we have on the left-hand side is 3xy plus 7yx. And the question you need to ask yourself is, can we combine these two terms? Are we dealing with like terms? And the answer is yes, we can. And the reason is xy is exactly the same thing as yx, right? In other words, we're dealing with something called the commutative property. And the commutative property says that something like 2 times 3 is exactly the same as 3 times 2. So the end result is 3xy plus 7yx is the same as 3xy plus 7xy, which is 10xy. So we have 10xy on the left. Now it's only going to work if we're dealing with the exact same amount of each. If we have x squared y, it's not the same as y squared x. We'll get to that in a later chapter. But the end result here is that we have 10xy. On the right-hand side, we have negative 8 minus 30y. Now let me see if I can scroll this down a little bit. Nope. I guess I can't. So, okay, I guess we'll have to survive with this. What we're trying to do is we're trying to solve this for x, right? So there's my x, and notice that everything that's connected to it is connected by multiplication. 10 times x times y. How do you get rid of multiplication? By dividing. So all we really need to do is just divide by the terms it's connected to. Divide by 10y. divide by 10y. And what we end up with is just x on the left hand side. I'm going to draw it over here. And on the right hand side, minus 8 minus 30y divided by 10y. Now you could try to simplify that, but I'm going to say at this point we've satisfied the initial conditions of the problem. We've got x on the left and we've got everything else, no x's included, on the right hand side. So we have a solution. In other words, the original nasty looking equation right there can be written in the form of x equals negative 8 minus 30y over 10y. Hope this helps.